episode of Inspiration, we're taking a closer look at the Alchemy Advanced Course Pioneering Leadership, and specifically one of the 12 inspiring women who courageously said yes to doubling down on themselves as a leader and venturing into uncharted territory, ultimately creating a new future for themselves. Check it out. So, Tammy, 2 questions for you. The first one is, pioneering. Sandy and I were very intentional and when we decided to name the advanced course Pioneering Leadership. So what comes forward for you when you hear the word pioneering? Like, what do you think of when you hear the phrase pioneering leadership?
Yeah, when I think about pioneering leadership, it's about breaking new ground and doing something that hasn't been done before. And to me, when it's behind the word leadership, or in front of the word leadership, it's personal. So it's about breaking new ground personally as a leader and going places I haven't gone yet. And for me, that's about inspiring others the best I can possibly inspire, and how I can do that better and better every day.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying, that putting pioneering in front of leadership makes it personal. Like, it personalizes it, because what we talk about at the Alchemy Group is inspiration is our own responsibility.
Right.
So we cannot give away what we do not have. So it's like, it starts with me. Like, finding a new territory, exploring new territory, it starts with me. Yeah, really
Definitely.
valuable. So one more question. So one of the ways that we can define pioneering is willing to endure hardships to explore new territory. So you could take this in either way, Tammy. Either what are you willing to endure, or what is the new territory that you are committed to discovering for yourself?
Yeah, so I guess combining both of those questions, I would say it's about being real with yourself. Mm-hmm. For me, the journey through the various alchemy programs I've already done, and now through this one, is learning more and more about who I show up as a leader and who I want to show up as a leader. And learning to slow it down, learning how to look in that mirror and say to myself, that's either not who I want to be, and how do I change that? What do I have to do differently to change that? Or saying, I showed up pretty darn well today. I'm happy about how that went. And for me, it's about inspiring others. It's about knowing I can walk away saying I inspired them. I was effective as a coach or a mentor or as a leader. For me, the timing of all of this was really amazing, because in the middle of what was starting as the beginning of this pandemic, it was like, how do you make time for yourself, right? And what I have helped learn through these programs is, if you don't make time for yourself, you're not making time for others. Right. So it has to start with me knowing how to show up as a leader. And I have a lot of what I would call our essential workers. And so it was very different for me than a lot of other folks that are working largely remote, and that I was largely on site. And I was representing those other people largely on our campuses. Mm-hmm. And everything that was a best practice in the past was turned on its head, and it wasn't necessarily a best practice anymore. Mm-hmm. And so how do I inspire that group as well as inspire others to say, how do we do this going forward? How do we bring people back? What do we need to put in place in a way that people can get comfortable with it, right? And feel inspired by it, not to overuse that word.
Yeah. Well, and I'm hearing a few things in your share. The first is, like, especially because you have been supporting essential workers and in the field almost this whole time, so much was turned on its head. And as a leader, you had to pivot pretty quickly into, how do I breathe life into this situation? How do I breathe life into these people that could have fear, uncertainty, all of that? in such a precarious time. And you got on the court and really right away started pioneering a new path. The other thing I'm hearing in your share, Tammy, is, you know, really grappling with who do I want to be as a leader. And what's so powerful is that, you know, you've been up to this game of leadership for quite a few years, and yet we are under, as leaders, no obligation to be the same person that we were an hour ago, a day ago, or even a week ago.
Right.
Like, you can declare a brand new being right now. And then tomorrow you can declare a brand new one. And you're up to something new, and you're like, nope, there's something else. There's something more. There's something greater.
Yeah. And that to me is about getting real with myself and learning what that means, and learning and listening and slowing it down so that I listen effectively, and then practicing who I want to be. You know, whether it went well or not, taking away from that and saying, okay, I know how I'm going to handle that the next time. Exactly. I am later in my career, I would say, is probably the politically correct way to say it. I'm later in my career, and one of the things important to me is inspiring others through whatever that takes. That is really where I'm at as far as what my focus is.
Yeah. Such a clear and powerful mission. Interested in watching other episodes? You can find them all at our website at www.thealchemyleaders.com. Or better yet, follow us on Instagram at _thealchemygroup_. There you will be the first to know when the latest episodes of Inspiration drop. Now, above all else, be sure to share this episode and any other episodes with another leader who could potentially use an extra dose of inspiration today.